right, welcome guys to our Empower Hour. Every single Monday we come together as an industry-wide call and we do training, we share tips, and we bring on incredible guests that just tonight is a legend, guys. So many years in the industry and trainings that he's done. So we're really excited about this. But we bring people to this audience to bring you value. And that's a part of our industry that I think always was so important to me from when I got started was the free value that's out there and the people that have created success that are more than willing to give that value out to those who are hungry to learn, hungry to build, hungry to change their lives, build their dreams, make things happen. That's what this is all about. We're in very big times in the world right now. We want to see people succeed. So to bring somebody like this tonight, Paul, I'm going to let you do introductions because this one was all on you and your connection with Big Al. So I'm so excited. Go ahead.
Well, really, the connections, I haven't spoken to him in years, but he was the very first interview. When I got started in network marketing 7 years ago, he was the very first interview I did. And God knows I haven't gone back to listen to it in a long time. And thank God he knows what he's doing because I certainly didn't. Let me just give a quick intro. So welcome, everybody. And today I have a really special guest. His impact on network marketing industry is nothing short of legendary. Tom Schreiter is affectionately known as Big Al. He's dedicated over 4 decades to empowering individuals and teams in their journey towards success in this industry. His engaging and straightforward approach has trained thousands of distributors around the world, helping them master the art of effective communication and sales. Big Al is not just the author of several best-selling books. He's also a highly sought-after speaker, renowned for his ability to simplify complex concepts and make them accessible to everybody. His innovative training programs have transformed the way network marketers view their businesses, and he emphasizes the importance of building genuine relationships and mastering the power of storytelling. What sets Big Al apart is his unwavering passion for teaching, his unique insight into the ever-evolving landscape of network marketing. And today we'll delve into his experiences and we're going to hear his thoughts on the future of this industry and uncover the lessons he's learned along the way. So without further ado, let's welcome Big Al, Tom Schreiter. Hey, Tom.
Good evening, your time. How you doing?
Good, buddy. Good to see you. It's been a long time. You know, thank God you put all the books up there because you got so many books. I'll never remember all the names of them.
Yeah, there's I don't know, 50 some books, so I don't remember them either. It's okay.
And you wrote them.
Yeah.
So listen, I just want to freestyle. There's a couple of things that I think we try to get to, but I want to give you just a general feel for people that are re-engaging into the industry. Maybe some of the depressed issues we're seeing in the US market, because I build internationally and I know you do. And I think like what's going on with this whole affiliate marketing craze and how people are panicked on it when we have such a great opportunity still in this industry. So a couple of little points if you could touch on, and then I just want you to freestyle and give these people some great value.
The affiliate, I'm assuming you're saying that a couple companies are going out of business. So somebody
Correct.
told me there's like 2,000 network marketing companies. I don't know if it's true or not, but I guess if there's 2,000 of them and 3 went out of business, probably I wouldn't panic. That's probably better than the restaurant business, which is probably 50% in the first year or whatever. But, you know, it makes good press and people can talk back and forth and waste a whole lot of time on the politics and views and giant overviews. But, you know, the bottom line is we're at the right place at the right time for a person. They can take advantage of it. And if not, well, wait till the time is better. Nothing wrong with that.
Sure. That was your whole thing too. You're not a big rush to the business kind of guy. When you're not ready, you're not going to build anyway. So, you know, let's just start at the beginning. Let's assume that we know nothing about this industry, but other than we think we can make a lot of money.
Well, that's a pretty good motivation. I'm thinking if you were to take a survey, probably more people at least have said, yeah, I'll join for the money rather than maybe this reason or that reason. So let's take a look at the money part. When people come into the business, they have unrealistic expectations, and it makes it really hard for them to get started. And then when they get started, they don't spend any time on training. So they pass on the message probably poorly. I was talking to a group in England 2 weeks ago, and they sold utilities, discount utilities for gas and electricity. And I said, so somebody says, so what exactly do I have to do in your business? Yeah. And that's an important question, which is, if I join the business, what am I going to have to do to qualify? And of course, the answer is, well, you get to call up and make a list of all your family and friends and harass them and push them for presentations and then go over for 2 hours and drag them to a meeting. And then you went through the whole thing. And I said, well, do you think there's a better way for somebody to look at this business? And they thought for a moment. I said, well, yeah, I suppose. I said, well, do you think you might want to do that? And they said, well, yeah, we thought about that only for about a second, then we're off doing something else. The difference is how we let people know about our business. You could maybe just say it in a different way so more people would join. You say, all right, so what do you got to do in our utility business? And the person say, well, knowing that this person is going to be really afraid of all the sales and rejection and stuff, you're going to say, well, you know how a lot of people get electric bills and heating bills all the time? People go, well, yeah, almost everybody says. And a lot of people are happy with their providers. Oh, okay. And there's some that are not happy with them. All right. And out of those that are not happy with their providers and their prices, a lot of them don't even want to change. They've been with them forever. They're okay with it. But there is a small percentage that, say, hey, I would like to change. I would like to get a better deal. Well, in our business, we help those people get the better deal. The end.
I think it's just so crazy that there's so many people. Our industry is what, a $90 billion industry or whatever. The numbers vary all over the place. Somebody's saying yes to network marketing. And somebody's saying yes to network marketing every single day, right? So I guess what you're saying is let's sort them out, right? Put the sorting hat on and figure out who's that prospect just by asking.
Yeah. The good news is I've already sorted out all the people that said no over my 50-some years. So all you have left are the good ones.
Well, that's good. Yeah, but that's the process, right? And I think people get too either offended or hurt or just they just don't have the right. You said managing the expectation. And I think that's the biggest challenge for most people is they just don't know what to expect. Therefore, what are you waiting for? You don't have any idea what to expect. So what are you expecting?
Yeah, the expectations could be a bit unrealistic. I do this little example for people to understand that if you give people the right expectations, the experience is going to be better. So we're doing this giant convention and the president says, thank you everybody for coming. And on the way out today, I'm going to give you all $1,000 for just showing up because I just believe in you all. And so at the convention's over, everybody rushes out the back door and the president gives them $10. They're not feeling very good about this. They had different expectations. What a jerk. But what if the president hadn't said that? Just a regular convention, but on the way out, the president's there saying, all right, on the way home, here's $10, get a cup of fancy coffee to stay awake so you don't fall asleep because we really care about you. You think, what a nice guy, what a nice guy. And it's the same $10. It's just that the expectations are different. So the biggest way or the second biggest way actually to overcome fear of talking to people is managing the expectation. And we can do that really quickly and very efficiently by saying, all right, they're afraid of rejection, so they're going to talk to 3 people and then quit, and they're going to call me up and say, hey, I don't have anybody to talk to. They say, really? Yeah. Look at your phone. How many contacts? 1,731. How many have you talked to? 3. Well, those 3 weren't interested, so I need different people. Hot leads. I'm going to buy some recruiting system, funnel, or AI or whatever. It's all right. The expectations are just wrong. And you say, all right, here's the deal. you're afraid of talking to people because you got rejection. And you know what? So am I. So let's do it from now on where we don't get any rejection. Instead, we're going to go out with better expectations. And our expectations is there's a whole bunch of people that this isn't going to be good for right now today. And why? Well, we don't know what happened to them 5 minutes before we met them. Their mother dropped them on their head when they're 4 years old, can't make good decisions. Their child came home with a bad report card. Tons of things can happen. So we say there's a bunch of people, but it's just not their time. And there's somewhere it is their time. We don't know in advance just by staring at them. So we ask, if it's a good timing for them. If it's not, we move on. If it is, we answer some questions. So when you talk to people, it's not a win, lose, live, die situation. Instead, what we're doing is offering something to people that they can take advantage of if the timing is right for them. And amazingly, the timing is right for a lot of people. Just from the income thing you talked about, that right now with inflation and job security and stuff, timing is pretty good for a lot of people to check out. An extra paycheck would help pay for my 33 streaming services that I have that prevent me from doing anything in life. What could I say?
I love that, the 33 streaming services that they can swing. And I think just outpacing inflation. How about you, Angel?
I feel guilty of the 33 street. I've got 2 kids and I'm pretty sure we're about that number. So I just love this, and listening to you, and actually I'm so grateful to Paul for introducing me to your trainings, and I've been listening to you and just your casual human way of talking to people, because we get so weird in the industry, right? And just what you said right now, that there's people want a better way. There's people out there that want a better way. They want to save money. They want to have this opportunity. I just love that. What would you say for yourself? For somebody, what would you say to somebody new coming in? What is the first mindset shift they need to make? Because when we do get weird and we don't know how to talk to people and we overpromise and underdeliver in those conversations, what kind of a shift should they make first and be working on first?
When we come in, we have this vision of what salesmen are. Salesmen are people that call up, harass, high pressure for an appointment, come over, talk to people for a long time. And it's win, lose, live, or die. Somebody's going to walk out the victor. The other one's going to be defeated. It's pretty ugly. And it gets worse because they don't teach us any neuroscience before we get started. We don't even know how people are going to make up their mind anyway. And if you're asking 1,000 network marketers, what kind of business are you in? They say, well, I know this is health and wellness. No, we're in the decision-making business. The company does everything. They make stuff. They have lawyers, customer service, shipping, all that stuff. The company does everything. And the situation is the company says, we're in partnership with you. We'll do everything except one little thing. And that is to get somebody to make a yes decision. We'll do everything else. And so we've got this great partnership. Like the company does everything. We don't have to worry about staff and all that stuff. We just get people to say yes. And the company wants us to do this because that's the only thing they can't do. They can't just say, I'll spam with everybody else on the internet and hope a lot of people will buy. They know that our person-to-person relationships with people give us a better chance to talk to our mom versus some banner ad that goes through. So, okay. We're in the yes decision business. So you meet me at a party, say, Big Al, you're in the yes decision business. I understand. Oh, yeah. So Big Al, how does that work? No idea. You'd laugh. You're saying, what an idiot. So we don't know how people make decisions. And so that's our business. I have to say there's a sort of a disconnect there. If we understand a little bit about decision making and how it works and how it's done at the subconscious level and how it's on automatic programs and stuff. We get a little bit better at this, and all of a sudden it gets to be a lot of fun. We get a lot of yes decisions. And decisions, we have some control over that by how we present things. Earlier we did the example of expectations. Just by repositioning things, we can control things. So here's the mindset people should have. Network marketing is not something I'm doing to somebody. It's something I'm doing for somebody. Mm. So I'm not giving them a sales presentation, because as soon as you say the word presentation, just think of all the stuff that comes in our mind. Salesman approaching, run, save yourself, hide your wallet, hide your purse, dive, Scotty, dive, beep, 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 danger. So instead of presentation, we should change that word to something like options. We offer people one more option in their life. And options have a different relationship. We say the word presentation. People are thinking, okay, they're going to close me later. I got to find something wrong, so I have some ammunition to protect myself. And if we say options, they say, well, instead of looking for something that's wrong, I should be looking for something that's right, because the only way the option can even serve me is if it works. I better figure out how to make this work. And just that little change alone gets people looking for reasons why versus why not. You say, all right, that's pretty good. So the mindset is, I'm afraid to talk to people because they might say no. The mindset should be, I got to let people know, because it's going to be almost rude to withhold that option from them. And I don't know what's going on in their life right now, but I'll let them know, and they can choose if the time is right for them. But to overcome that in humans, it's nice to say that intellectually, but they did find that the best way for people to overcome the fear of actually approaching prospects is a little experiment they did, and I'll just really modify it to make it relatable. But they took a bunch of salespeople, and they said, all right, let's measure your sales for 2 weeks. And same as always. The other group, though, this is what they did. Every morning, 10 minutes before their day of sales calls, they would get people to stand up, cheer, chant affirmations, sing the company song, rock across burning coals, eat nails, walk through walls, high fives, break boards. And guess what happened in 2 weeks? At the end of 2 weeks, their sales were about the same. And this is pretty discouraging. But they did take a third group of salespeople, and here's what they did. 10 minutes before they started every day, they had them talk to one super satisfied fan or customer that had a great experience from the product or service. And when they did that, their sales went up like tremendously. So it's just a matter of, if you want to change somebody's belief, you can do it through experience, but a lot of times they're brand new. They don't have a chance for that experience. But if you could give them that experience almost like secondhand by talking to a satisfied customer first, it really helps them feel, wow, this helps so many people. They should at least know about it. And that, along with, I'm giving this opportunity to somebody to help them. You say, all right, so that would help change their mindset. So I got expectations. I'm going to have them talk to some satisfied customers. What else could I do? I said, well, change your mindset. Let's start with some words. That might be pretty helpful when you go out and talk to people. So I said, well, let's start with this. When you go out and talk to people, just start off by saying, this may or may not be good for you. And that takes away all the pressure. It's impossible to get rejected when you say this may or may not be good for you. We don't know in advance. Like I said, we don't know what happened to them earlier in life. We don't know what sales programs they watched on TV when they were a kid that programmed them. We just do that. And so that would be the changes to give somebody a different way of looking at things. But that's a long answer to a really short question. You can edit that.
Tom, we're not editing a darn thing, to be honest with you. And I always love that. Now, I want you to see if you see that, how to build your network marketing business in 15 minutes or less. And I've been preaching that since I read that book, a long time ago, about you could build this thing. I say 15 minutes in the morning, 15 minutes at night. And just then as it starts, giving you something back, then invest a little bit more time into it. But give me a little bit more of that. There's a lot more in that book than just taking 15 minutes and doing nothing. So there's a concept behind that.
The concept is giving people options. And if we're not a pushy salesman, but an observing one, we can give people pretty accurate options. We don't have to be a mind reader to look at somebody who's just walked out of his boss's office that got fired, totally depressed. You're going to have to go home and announce it to the family. We say, I could probably give them an option of another opportunity, maybe something they could be doing in between jobs to build a business part-time or something. You say, well, okay. All I have to do is observe. And you say, well, I can observe people all day long. Who are the people I should look for? What should I be looking for? And I said, well, you dropped me out of town, Morristown, New Jersey. You dropped me there in the middle of nowhere. I don't know anybody. And you say, Big Al, you're pretty much charisma bypass, personality free, scared of your shadow. You've never got the self-confidence thing down at all. And I said, yeah, all right, you're accurate. So I want you to start recruiting here. I go like, really? I said, yeah. So what are you going to do? I said, well, I guess I'll do this. Across the street, there's a little shop there, and they have a sales clerk. I'll talk to that sales clerk because they have to be polite to me, because if they are rude, they get fired. So at least I can avoid rejection. So I'll go over to that shopkeeper, and I'll start off with 4 words to disable any chance of rejection. I'll start off by saying, I am just curious. And I found out if you say that, you can talk to almost anybody. So I'm just curious. Could you do me a favor? They go, could you do me a favor? Well, since you're so polite, of course I can do you a favor, as long as it's not loaning you money or anything like that. I said, okay. So I'm just curious, could you do me a favor? I am looking for people with a full-time job and a part-time job who would like to get rid of one of those jobs. Do you know anybody like that? And they might say, well, my mom. I said, all right, what's her phone number? What do you mean? Why do you want her phone number? So I could talk to her. Well, why do you want to talk to her? To help her get rid of one of those jobs. Oh, well, now they have a decision to help their mom or not. But just having that little bit, you say, well, what all happened there? I'm just curious, could you do me a favor? Pretty nice opening. And I'm not asking them to do something, so the pressure's off of them. I am looking for somebody, and who am I looking for? I'm looking for a really hot pre-sold prospect, somebody that's going to be really easy because my self-confidence is really low. And I'm looking for somebody with a full-time job. What do I know about somebody with a full-time job and a part-time job? Well, I know that they are ambitious, hardworking. They probably don't want 2 jobs for the rest of their lives. They'd probably be happy to get rid of one of those jobs. If I could help them get rid of a part-time job, they might worship the ground I walk on. If I could help them get rid of both of those jobs, they might have a stroke because they're so excited. I don't know. But when I talk to this person, He said, well, how are you going to talk to this person? I said, well, I was talking to your son, and he said you have a full-time job and a part-time job, and might want to get rid of one of those jobs. Is that right? Yeah. And then I'm going to use my high-powered appointment thing. Well, then we should talk. When? Now? Saturday? That's it. And he said, so it wasn't that mind-boggling hard, was it? And I says, no, no, no. So even if you put me in a place where I don't know anybody, I can still probably do it without rejection, because once you have really poor self-confidence, it doesn't seem to go away right away after 50 years. I'm working on it, though.
Ange, you have another one?
I do, yeah. So I just wrote down that
I wrote down everything.
What I know, I'm writing down, I wrote down the one who wins is the one who delivers the most options to the most people, right? Like that, the options, because I think from the perspective of those who don't want to do more than the 15 minutes, right? Where they're just obsessed with it and they're building and they're in that momentum. And it's like, if you're delivering options to more people, you're going to have a better result. But I have a question here. So your message has been consistent throughout your entire career, where your training is consistent. You're constantly, training people on, like, again, like I said, just being normal, just being yourself, just being kind and listening to the prospect, listening to the people, asking the right questions, delivering those options in a market now where it's so, the social media and everybody trying to have their own message and their own brand. What would you say to people today to deliver a message that sticks, to identify themselves as being a little bit different, but still delivering a consistent message that works for people? How can they build a brand like you have after 57 years and become a legend, years from now for themselves?
I wouldn't say it's a brand. I just say talk to people politely, like humans. There's so many people try to be salesmen and manipulate people. We tell the new people, you're not here to sell, manipulate, persuade, convince. You just give people an option. And you say, okay, what kind of options should I give them? Well, if you gave them a better option, a lot of people are going to take it. People have common sense. And the common sense says, all right, this option is better than what I have in my life right now. Well, that's all I need, is just something that's better at the right time. People can tell if the option is better than their current life. So you don't have to really push something or convince them. It's not a matter of convincing people. It's a matter of removing all their biases and prejudices early so they can hear our offer fairly. And then once they hear our offer fairly, well, then they can make up their own mind. And I think just about every time our options are better than their current life. And for those that say, well, okay, so what's that mean about closing? Well, closing kind of works like this. We give people an option and they choose if it's either for them or not. And they do the choice. And you say, well, that seems pretty easy. And the answer is, yeah, all you have to do is give them a reasonable option, something better than what they have right now. So you can give people options all day long. You're talking about the book, How to Build Your Business in 15 Minutes a Day. You say, well, as long as I'm going to give people options, I want to give them good options, and I want to pre-sell them, and I want to kind of pre-close them. I said, how would I do that? I said, okay, let's pick the most rejection-free icebreaker in the history of mankind. It's called benefit plus permission. So we make a list of all the benefits of our product or service or opportunity. So let's just let's pick give me the imaginary product. What would you
imaginary
suggest?
product? I don't know. Let's pick weight loss. Everybody seems to be worried about that.
Obviously, I made an impression. So,
You know, and I thought 3 times before I mentioned it.
A
Proud.
weight loss deodorant.
yeah, I just dig myself a hole. All right. So, all right. So, what are you going to do? Can you just kind of roll up to fat people and kind of poke them and say, hey, have you considered weight loss sometime in your immediate future? You say, oh, that's going to come across really bad. So, how can I do an icebreaker and protect myself and pre-sell? So, this benefit plus permission is we're going to write down all the benefits, not solving problems, just the benefits to start with. So, say, all right, the benefit is we could lose 40 pounds in 40 minutes. All right, that'd be a benefit, a really big benefit. And you say, okay, what's another benefit? I would have more energy. You know, what's another benefit? You make this giant list of benefit. And then all you have to do is when you see somebody say, you know, I could give them the option of this benefit. It'd probably help them a lot. But I don't want to push it on them. What I'm going to do is tell them the benefit and maybe even make it third party so I'm totally safe. And then I will give them permission to ask me for more details if they're interested. Well, that sounds reasonable. So how would that sound? All right. So let me do a couple examples. You know, my mom lost 40 pounds in 40 minutes last week. Would you like to know how she did it? Permission statement. Would you like to know how she did it? Yeah. If they don't, they'd say, well, you know, hey, how about that big election coming up or something? Done. They just continue on just like they normally would. And you might say, well, my neighbor lost a lot of weight and now has more energy. It's like he's 20 years younger. Would you like to know his secret? Permission. Would you like to know his secret? Yeah. All right. All right. What else could I say? I always had trouble losing weight, but now I just add a magic ingredient to my breakfast. Lost about 10 pounds. Would you like to know how it works? Yes or no? Or would you like to know my plan? Would you like to know his secret? Or I could say this. I have this neighbor named Angel. You know, nobody likes her. But you know what she does every morning? She sits outside on our front steps, sipping coffee, waving goodbye to everybody else going to work. Would you like to know her secret?
Love it.
Tell me more. So the permission statements is just a way of them being able to volunteer if they are interested. If not, conversation goes on. They talk about sports or shopping or something. So some examples of these statements would be, would you like to know my plan or her plan? Or would you like to know what I'm doing or what my mom did? Would you like to know his secret? Would you like to know how it works? So that's called benefit plus permission. And that's just about the safest icebreaker out of the 100 different types of icebreakers. That little formula is a pretty easy one to go. And say, well, I just had to be observing. And when they raise their hands and say, no, wait a minute. Yeah, I would like to know how it works. Nobody who's not interested is going to ask for additional information. Nobody wants more information torture. So when they say, well, yeah, tell me how it works, they've already mentally made a decision. Yeah, I want this. And you're just so far ahead of the game. They say, all right, that's pretty easy for anybody to do. What if I want to take it up just a little bit? So if I want to take it up just a little bit, you'd say, all right, now we're talking about problems. decisions come from emotion. That's how the subconscious mind communicates with the conscious mind. It doesn't really have words. So emotions are the important thing. Problems create a lot more emotion or motivation than a benefit. Let's just bring it up. So there is, all right, well, what's a different icebreaker formula I could use? Well, this one is perfect for shy people. Shy people, we have trouble in conversations. So we can't ever think of what to say, and people assume we are listening. We're just trying to think of what to say. But that builds rapport. People say, oh, you're such a great listener. But if we listen, people will talk about their problems. It's a hardcore program in the human mind. You go to a party, you got the what is your name? Where are you from? What do you do for a living? You got to go through those three first because that's polite. And as soon as you finish those, then people get to talk about their problems. The first thing, oh, it's so hard getting here today. My car broke down. People do this because they think that we'll love them more if they had to suffer for the chance to be with us. So people talk about their problems. It's great. I like talking to distributors. Say, well, you know, all my friends and neighbors, you know, they're all negative. You're surrounded by people with awesome problems. Isn't it great you're around all these negative people? I mean, if they're all happy and rich, you wouldn't have a business. So the purpose of business is to solve problems. Nobody got hungry, restaurants are out of business. Nobody got sleepy, hotels are out of business. So people need to have problems. So to take it up just a little tiny more, you do this icebreaker. It's called tiny questions. The first question is, do you have this problem? What we're doing is we are checking to make sure we have the right problem, that we heard it right. And they think, wow, you're such a great listener. I just love you, man. Friends forever. Do you have this problem? And they're interested because whenever we talk about them, nobody falls asleep. Do you have this problem? And then the second question is, would you like to fix it? That wasn't that hard. Yes or no? If you like to fix it, what would you say? Well, yeah, I want to like to fix it. What should we say next? Then we should talk.
Mm-hmm.
Don't have to make it a big deal. And say Saturday at 2 or 4. No, just then we should talk. Oh, when? Oh, what's good for you? Do you have this problem? Would you like to fix it? And if they don't want to fix it, it's okay. Some people are happy when they have problems because, oh man, if I didn't have any problems, what would I talk about? I'd be a mute. Love having problems. It's good for my self-image. You know, I'm a full-time loser. I want to fall on a sword. Would you hold a sword for me? Yeah, whatever we want. All we can do is just say, do you have this problem? Would you like to fix it? Or, oh, that's a little bit aggressive for me. All right, well, have you ever considered fixing it? Okay, that's even softer yet. People are only motivated to work if it's within their comfort zone. Sorry to say that. But when it's outside the comfort zone, eventually they run out of energy trying to force it. If we can show them how to do this entire business within a comfort zone, rejection free, and they could do it every day in their sleep. You say 15 minutes a day, why would it take that long to do it? Well, it's only going to take maybe 15 seconds. But, you know, we have a little padding time in there because maybe they're inefficient when they get started. But you could say things like, looks like I'll be able to quit this job in March. Would you like to know my plan? Yeah, take me with you. We should talk. When? Oh, how about now? How about now? You know, it's just that easy. And they say, you'd be able to leave in March? I'm glad to see you go. All right, take the hint. We're done. So we make it far too hard. Win, lose, live or die. scary. No wonder people only talk to 3 out of the 1,731 contacts on their phone.
So Al, I got to tell you that whole thing about the tiny questions was probably what I'm most embarrassed about is I probably built my first 100 distributors on tiny questions, and we get into something else and we get into all these other techniques and we forget to do it. And tiny questions was my thing back then. And would you like to, or, do you have this, hey, what's like blood pressure? I used to lose blood pressure because everybody's got high blood pressure or everybody's vitamin D deficient, or, you ask those questions where it's almost a guaranteed yes. I also always love your takeaway. This may be for you, it may not be, but that you don't realize how powerful those simple things are. I think people don't give themselves an out, and they don't give their prospect an out to just relieve the pressure. Because the biggest statement I think from this call so far is remove all biases and prejudices early so that you could really get down to business. I know you didn't say it that way, but I mean, I can't read my own handwriting, but dude, so you can really get to the options in that way. Storytelling, because I think a lot of people want to go through that 50, 60 list of benefits that this product may or may not do for that person. And it gets them to the problem, right? Because you're waiting for the guy's iPhone, blood pressure, no, cholesterol, no, weight loss. Oh, okay. But I think sometimes sharing a story like, hey, Angel, nobody likes her, but she sits on her porch and waves, having coffee, waves to everybody goodbye. That was compelling. And I think I think you're big on storytelling, and I think I think they underestimate it, because they want to go through a laundry list.
Well, stories is a better way to communicate rather than facts. We don't remember too many facts from when you're 5 years old, but we do remember a lot of stories. They're called fairy tales. The human mind is sort of evolved or designed to remember things and learn by stories. So if you think about cavemen, they're sitting around the campfire, and one caveman says, I was out with Grok yesterday, and he went to pet this giant lizard, and the lizard ate him. Don't do that anymore. And everybody else goes, whoa, good story. I think I'll remember that. It's good for my survival. Stories are a way for us to learn to survive. So the human mind almost cannot resist a story. So as soon as we start telling the story, we have their instant attention, and they cannot go on life unless they know how the story ends. And you could say, I got a good story. And don't say anything else. And people are going to bug you. But let's take it up a level, just one level. Say, we're talking to somebody, sales pitch. They know you got to get to the point and all that. If you just said these 5 words, you can absolutely control their mind, take iron-fisted control of their attention. They have no chance. It's probably illegal. But you could say this. Here is the short story. As soon as you say that, they have virtually no chance. And they say, short story, no sales pitch. I can set aside my no long sales presentation. Yeah, that's going to be great. And so what's the story? And, they start drooling. If you want to just make people feel good, just say, here's the short story. And just, I don't know, their face lights up. They're excited. They lean forward. They just want to know the short story. You say, well, how can I do it for the weight loss example? I might say, my mom lost 40 pounds in 40 minutes last week. Would you like to know how she did it? Oh, yeah. Well, here's the short story. People are like, they're going to fall on their face, have a face fall. It's going to be terrible. They're just leaning forward so much. When we actually do this as a profession and start learning how to talk to people to remove all their biases and prejudices, like you said, that's our job. Just remove all that garbage so they can hear our offer, hear it fairly, and they're smart enough to say, well, this sounds better than my current miserable life. They got this figured out. And most people are good enough at math to say, well, having more money in my life is better than less money. I wasn't that good at math, but I can do that one. Or living longer, yeah, it kind of sounds better than dying early. And you make these options for people, they can figure it out as long as we remove that bias and prejudice first. That's where our skill is in the rapport stage, removing the bias and prejudice so they can hear it without thinking there's a secret agenda. We make it easy for them, stress-free. That's it.
And I don't know if it's more stress-free for them and even more stress-free, I think, for us, right? Because I think that's the challenge. I think that's why the phone, weighs, like, I don't know, a few ounces when we're calling our best friend, and it weighs 750 pounds when we're trying to call a prospect or start a conversation. That's why I like icebreakers, because I don't think people think in terms of breaking the ice, like breaking the ice, just get a conversation started and then go into any one of these techniques. I love practicing them one at a time, and just have a little path, almost like a funnel, right? I'm here, then I'm going to go to here, and then I'm going to go to here. And I think that's one of the things you did better than, or you do better than anybody in the industry, is seeing that, well, wait, if I use this technique first and then go to this one, you know what I mean? Now I'm going to make it really easy on them. But I love when people find your stuff and it lets them cheat. I don't want to say crutch. I don't want to say, but that's what I think you do better than any trainer in the industry, is giving that, the stories. Angel, anything come to mind?
Oh, I just think this is so good. I mean, I hope that everybody wrote down those questions, and especially thinking of social media and posting on your stories, and you're posting the testimonials and your posts. Would you like to know how she did this? Would you like to know her secret? Would you like to know my plan? I love those questions, because we just tend to put something up and say, DM me if you want these results. Right?
And what kind of results are you getting? I know you're not getting the results you hoped for. We know that. We don't even need to. I don't even need to see the post. Tom doesn't. Angel, we don't need to see your post. I already know nobody's DMing you.
Yeah, I know. Exactly. So I love that. You've worked with so many people over your career. What do you think? Because we talk about the new person and what they should be shifting in their mindset, and becoming comfortable just with conversations. What do you think? What are the most common mistakes that you see in seasoned professionals? Like, as they get, how Paul just said that, oh, that's something I used years ago and I forgot I even used it.
128 distributors in my first 5 months, or first 7 months, with tiny questions. And I got to be honest with you, I got to go find, they're in my storage unit, and I got to go.
Yeah. Well, and we tend to do what we teach people not to do, which is stick with what works, and then we move on to something else. What is the most common mistakes you see seasoned professionals make, especially when they're into the, they can do the conversations, they know how to talk to people, they know how to talk about benefits and options. When it gets to that decision section of the conversation, what mistakes do you see them most commonly making?
Well, first problem is most of them don't know when the decision is actually made, and that's made initially. When I got started, I thought, well, you get somebody an appointment, you browbeat them, say, shut up, keep your questions till the end. And then at the end of 60 minutes, you'll have enough information to make an intelligent decision to say yes or no. And then I'll do the sales close. And yeah, that wasn't really true at all. But that's what we perceive from, I don't know, used car salespeople or TV or something. For those that are taking notes, there's 5 steps, but let's just concentrate on 4 that we can control. There's 4 stages the human mind goes through. Let me do all 5 so nobody thinks there's a bait and switch or something. But the first thing, it was
$7.95 for the 5th one. We're going to charge $7.95 for number 5. But go ahead, I'm kidding.
The first thing, people have 5 questions when they meet us, and when you understand that these 5 questions always go in sequence, and you talk at the sequence, you're in total sync with how they feel, so you don't have any of this conflict in their mind. So the first question always is, who are you? If you're a famous athlete, head of the political party that somebody enjoyed, who are you pretty much rocks. A doctor joins network marketing. She picks up the phone. She calls 10 people. Hey, I'm going to start this network marketing business. You want to come in with me? Or yeah, well, all right. We'll talk about it Saturday at the barbecue at my house. 10 people, 10 yeses. Why they join? Because she's a doctor. And they said, well, if you're a doctor and you know how to cut people open, that makes you an expert in business. What? But that's how the human mind thinks. The human mind has a program, this is a little strange, that if you are expert in one area, we will automatically grant you genius status in all areas. It's just the way it is. So if you want to be a weight loss expert, just tell people, just casually in conversation, there's because you Google this like 3 minutes before. There's 5 foods you could eat that really burn more calories than actually what's in the food you ate, and just mention that and say, oh, you must know all about dieting. You must know how the mitochondrial, interacts with the cellular walls. And it's just how we think. But the first question is, who are you? Most of us have some pretty good success in the beginning because people know who we are. We're talking to our warm list. As soon as we leave that, we got some credibility problems. You get a list of messages from people. The first thing we look for is who the messages are from. It's how we decide to allocate our time. Now, we really can't change who we are right away. We can do it through personal development, et cetera. But so let's set that aside and say, okay, since I can't control who I am when I talk to strangers, or whatever, we don't have that relationship, what are the 4 steps that they're going to go through in their mind, the 4 questions to make this decision? Question number 1 is, can I trust you and believe you? Now, this would be about 80%. In the book that I sent you there's a little chart in there, a little pie chart says 80% is rapport. Rapport means if I can trust you and I can believe you. Now, if you don't have that, well, you're toast. It doesn't matter what you say, they're not going to believe you. People skip that step because they don't even know it exists. That was me when I got started. And I had this situation happen. This lady says, well, I just got involved in this business and it's a health product. And what I'm going to do is drive my car to the top of this big hill. When I see a jogger comes by, I'm going to open up the door. And what do I say? What's my icebreaker? I said, there's something missing here. Because I had this vision of her opening the door, wiping this jogger out, rolling down the ditch or something, and then say, would you like to recover from your recent injuries for your icebreaker? Just bad. I go, okay. So the first step is rapport. Can I trust you and believe you? And if we get that, we rock. Now, let's take Angel, for example. Angel has a natural smile. I don't have a natural smile, but there is a human program that says if somebody smiles, they can be trusted. From 6 weeks old, a baby can react to a smile. Can't speak English, can't roll over, but can react to a smile. So if we want to get the baby to trust us, we lean over the crib and smile at them. Anyway, rapport is number 1. Now, how to get rapport? How many books have I written about rapport? But the easiest way, shortcut, is tell people one fact they already believe. Like in that presentation about the utilities, it says, well, people get electric bills all the time. Huh? All right. Or talk about dieting. Man, dieting is always tough. Oh, yeah. He said, skincare. We never want our face to be a bad first impression. Oh, okay. Rapport. Once that's established, then we do an icebreaker, like we've talked about. Icebreaker simply means, what's this all about? That's their question. And when we tell them what it's all about, The human mind will make an instant and immediate decision. Yes or no? And I say, well, example. All right. Here's my icebreaker. Can I take your children skydiving with me? Do you need a presentation? No, you already made a yes or no decision. You say, oh, no, you can't take my babies, or I would help push, depending on the children. And you say, I made that decision before I knew if you're a certified skydiver, you're successful 3 out of 4 times, you're only going to skydive 1 inch, all this stuff. So that's where it's all over. The decision, it happens automatically based upon our icebreaker offer. Step number 3 in their mind is, do I want to do it or not? That happened automatically as soon as they heard the icebreaker. Forget about closing. That's done automatically. All the pressure is off. And what's number 4? Number 4 is some details. If they want to do it, they probably want the details, presentation. If they don't want to do it, nobody wants details on something they don't want to do. When I got started, all I did was the presentation. And you say, well, you were an idiot. And the answer is, you were accurate. There was the presentation and facts. You got to look at the stuff. That has nothing to do with the decision. The point is, when we talk to people, can I trust you? What's it all about? Now that I heard what it's all about, I will close myself yes or no if I want it or not. And if the answer is yes, then and only then would you give me any details. That's how we can talk to people in a very safe way and in total sync with how they think about things.
Al, we're pretty much out of time, but I'm going to tell you that I think that was an amazing close. Those 4 points are an amazing close, and I think so many people want to get right to the presentation and pull their slide projector out and set it up in the middle of somebody's living room and everything. And it's the eyes glaze. It's like watching somebody's vacation videos, right? I mean, it's just, unless somebody slipped or whatever. I do love, I guess the best line is, as a skydiver, you were successful 3 out of 4 times. So I think that's a pretty good record. Angel, any closing thoughts? Because we're kind of running out of time here.
Goodness, this was so good. Honestly, you know what? There's a lot of people here who look up to you, Al, but also that look up to Paul. And it's been so interesting to listen to the way that you teach. And now I understand, Paul.
You see it?
What you have studied.
I ripped this guy off. I robbed him blind. Do you hear the 4 elements training?
Oh, absolutely. And this whole last conversation, I'm like, that's exactly how we present to people. These are our Zooms, and people love it because we have such a high closing ratio of people saying yes. And just really cool to see this kind of reverse engineered of what we actually already do. So this was, guys, if you've ever wondered what Paul does and you didn't listen today, then you've missed out on some great training here, because that was fantastic. It's been an honor to meet you.
How about, I didn't even realize that the 4 elements training are these 4 points other than the who are you? And I wrote it down. I wrote 4 elements that we do a thing called the 4 elements training. And see, you don't even realize it's just been so long. It's been 7 years, and the big build. I never got to talking about cultural differences, and we build in Asia and stuff. We're going to have you back, Al. I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, not only for the training and the books and everything else, but pretty much a huge influence on my career. We've never even had the chance to talk about it, and we went to a multiple 7-figure earner, and just by doing the simple stuff, because I'm an idiot too. We just do what we just do, and this stuff is so great. I'm glad Angel got a chance to see it, and she's like, aha, now I get it. Now I get it. And I thank many years ago that Joe O introduced me to you, many years ago, and he quit and I stayed, and here we are, but Al, thank you so much. I can't wait to run into you. Are you still in Thailand? Is that where you're living?
Yeah, I'm in Thailand right now.
Awesome. Well, when I get there, we do have, I build a little bit there, just a handful, but when I get to Asia, I'd love to get together and buy you a cup of coffee, and so you don't imprison me for stealing all your stuff. Angel, take us out.
I'll listen to you and listen to all the improvements, and I'll take them down. That'll be my next book.
There you go. That's fine, and I owe that to you. Angel, why don't you take us out again? Tom, thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I hope everybody wrote down the books that are behind you. Go and get them, guys. study this. This has just been so great. I have 4 pages of notes I'm writing on the backs of the pages. Just so much. And thank you for this. You know, we tend to get in our own heads, and you just, the way you simplify it, the storytelling, the conversation, making people feel important, making them feel heard, but at the same time, you know, being able to build a business around that, that's in a sales way that's not salesy or pushy. It's been huge. So guys, I hope you took all your notes. Make sure to share this recording with people when we send it out. We'll have it posted at Lion Pride Academy tomorrow. This was an honor. This was such a great hour. I just got so much out of it. You're such a joy, such an incredible energy. And thank you so much for spending your time with us tonight, because this was massive value.
And guys, listen, here's the short story. BigAlBooks.com.
Oh,
Get
there we go.
yourself, I mean, you could literally have the entire collection for peanuts, but you could literally make millions with it, because I did. Big Al, Tom, thank you so much. We'll see you soon. Good night, everybody.
Thank you. Good night, guys.
Don't